Hey, what's up? Cedric here, CR Wrestling Commentary, and I want to talk about Brock Lesnar's retirement and some things that I haven't seen. I don't go to X. I don't do that thing. Um, but I do see headlines here and there. I listen to James Romero. I listen to Jim Cornette. Um, and everything. Stevie Richards, Dutch Mantel, and things like that. And to be honest, on this topic, I haven't listened to anything from them. I want to say what I did see building up to the retirement, the surprise retirement, my add. I I was enjoying this. The fans were enjoying the whole Obafemi Brock Lesnar thing, and I was mostly. I don't know if anyone thought about it, but I was extremely surprised how they were putting Obafemi over. And Heyman, uh, Heyman has a few tales about things, and I was like, Oba's gonna win this when he has to. You're not gonna sit here and hype this guy up like this, who's only gotten some fledgling wins, and then beat him at WrestleMania. And I love how Heyman was saying it's the real main event because it's the most anticipated match. That's why he kept saying it's the real main event. Um, I enjoyed the match. I'm gonna tell you what I enjoyed the most in that match. Two things, two epic things in that match. I'm not. I don't really. I'm not a move junkie anymore. I like the appearance. I like the appeal. Brock Lesnar laid in some lariats onto Oba, not clotheslines. You could tell Brock was putting. And see, that's the thing. You're not supposed to see through it, and you not couldn't. Could you? Brock was laying into Oba, and Oba was no selling those lariats. It's like Brock was putting everything into it. That's what it looked like. It's supposed to. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then Oba, it's not that he quote unquote ate the F5 and then got his elevated dragon bomb that he calls falls from grace. No, no, no. He took the F5. He Splat City, right? But he didn't pop up. He didn't no sell it. He had to recover. That's beautiful right there. You could tell he was struggling to get up, get his bearings. He got his bearings. He was ready. It won't he just Road Warrior Hulk or Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan did. He had to recover. I like that. You could tell Brock was off kilter, caught off guard. I love that too. That was a really damn good match. I enjoyed it. I just didn't know or think or even see it coming that Brock was going to retire. But when he was sitting there in that ring, me and CJ was like, "Why are you sitting like a toddler?" Because that's what it looked like. That's because of the aura that had been presented. He got beat. He's sad. He's sulking. He's not happy. Yeah, yeah. With a different light, when you realize what's going on, because this is hindsight here, and hindsight is always 2020, isn't it? He took his gloves off, and the fans were like, "Oh no!" You could hear the shock, but you couldn't hear the lamentation. Then he started undoing his shoes. Then that little bit of heartbreak came in. CJ was like, "Why is Heyman struggling to get in the ring?" I said, "Because the two big dudes killed the steps. That's why." They killed the steps. You throw a big dude into it, and the steps are gonna die. Flesh meets steel, and steel loses in this case. So, yeah, the whole taking off the boots, and you could tell Heyman had an idea. Maybe he knew a lot, but there's one thing. It's like I think one wrestler let it out the bag, like, you're going to win the belt ahead of time. You know, that. You do your match, and then you finally win it, and you're like, oh man, I won this. Case in point, per se, this is reverse. But Darby Allin, in his promo with MJF, he on that title night, he was messed up because he already knew. He was messed up. He was crying. It gave a little bit of legitimacy to the idea that his opportunity would be taken away from him that he already had like 4 times. But if he had said something like that, like, I'm tired of, being screwed out of my chances, and I will not this time, something like that. So you get this, and you see that they're emotional. You see Lesnar and Heyman, they're emotional. Because, as I was alluding to with the title thing, it's one thing knowing that okay, look, this is my last match. And you work your match, you go through it. But then it's over. It's actually over. And that's when the pain sets in. So, at that point, hey, it is what it is. And the fans showed their appreciation. And as I was telling Cedra with my commentary through my brutally watering eyes, I was like, and then this is something for those, let's say, who's been there too. I'll get to where that there is. But Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar is more of a father-son thing in pro wrestling. Brock goes away, he do his thing, just like, in real life, any kid kind of would, right? But in this, you could see it. The way they embraced, that was family, not just close, tight friends. And so, from the beginning until the end, Heyman was there. Those two were technically, when you think about it, completely inseparable, even when it looked bleak. 20 plus years. And you've got yourself, that there I was talking about. If you've been there since Brock's debut, you grew up with this. You were with it. You watched him. You were there. I skipped out on multiple years. A lot that I didn't see. And so when I saw Brock, and I go away for many years because WWE got stale, boring, and, not money grubbing, but it was just weird. WWE started turning weird and repetitive. I didn't like that. So when I come back, this is well after Brock's MMA tour and retirement. So Brock is retired twice, MMA and professional wrestling. But how can I say this? You don't have a choice but to accept that your family member is now leaving. So you're there. Brock's there. Heyman's there. And then you get to the Monday Night Raw afterwards, which took a bit for Cedra and I to get there. But, man, when Heyman came out and he was cutting that promo on, he's not now. He's forever. Put him in the proper area. If you listen to it, Heyman, he couldn't fill a promo if he just said, oh, wait a minute. He has come out, said nothing, and walked off. And it was still a great promo. But it sounded like a father advocating for his son, and you're not going to screw up his memory, and I'll be damned if I allow you to live another day ruining his image. That's how he sounded. that got me. That messed me up. And for a fleeting second, even Logan Paul showed a bit of humanity. I didn't know he had any in there. Or maybe he does for those he believes is his own complete ilk. But he comforted Paul just a little bit. And just for maybe half a second, I was like, cool. Now you're scum again. I don't know what it would take for me to be positive about Logan Paul. As a human being, he disgusts me, but at the same time, he fits the type that WWE like. Not just the followers and whatnot for social media, but mentally, that's WWE's type when they want to push somebody to greatness. Paul Heyman had to calm himself down and introduce, not as he normally would say, that I can remember, Braun Breaker, but Baron Breaker. So I enjoyed this. I also I heard somebody mention about Lesnar's diverticulitis, and that's why he had to retire from MMA and all this other stuff. So, and I'm like, that's amazing. He gets diverticulitis. It's a shoot. He had surgery. Couldn't do the MMA. It started coming back. He had some more done. So when I was gone, my hiatus that I had to get away from in this topic to come back, because I was like, this is the wrong spot. He couldn't do in the ring what he normally wants to do. And so when I came back after my great hiatus from wrestling, Brock Lesnar was like, it's Suplex City. And I was like, what Suplex City? A front suplex, German suplexes all day. That, to me, I'm like, well, that might be Suplex Town, Village, something like that. I'm like, there's way too many suplexes that any one human being can do. Taz didn't do many, but he did all that people knew. 3 or 4 versions of the German suplex. He had the sleeper suplex. He had the one he returned from his kata hajime. He Tiger, Dragon, side Soto, Unardi, front overhead, high angle front overhead. Taz had, that's what the suplex machine. Brock is a big dude. I know about 3 suplexes that he should have done that would have been amazing, but that's just me. And that just would have been what I think he should do. That's just me though. My favorite is, there's 2 backdrops that I like. The original, which I call a Thesplex, because he's the one that innovated it. And then the high angle backdrop hold. And the first person I saw do that was Roddy Piper. And that became one of my favorites. Brock Lesnar is someone that I wished, because they had the chance to do it. They could have done it at WrestleMania if everybody was on board and knew what was going on. They could have had him come out on Raw if they could have worked a deal out or something. But I'm thinking, his retirement, wouldn't it have been nice? Wouldn't it have been nice if Brock Lesnar, walking up that ramp, he gets to the top at the stage, and then someone announces his name. And he looks back, and they announce only major titles won in the companies, organizations, and whatnot that he was a part of. Tag team, singles, MMA, or anything. Just the major, even in New Japan, the former champion, and how many times. And then a thank you, Brock, or something to cap that off. I think that would have been amazing. And that would have aided in a more heartfelt ending for the fans that went from thank you, Brock, to thank you, Lesnar. And I wish they had done that. They did a decent tribute package for him, but in my eyes, at best, it was decent. They could have ran down a litany of great things that he did. Storyline that he, beating the streak, that's almost a black eye on Lesnar's career, let alone WWE's, because it's like you're the guy that ended a persona legacy. It's that has never sat right. The Montreal screw job and then him defeating Undertaker. It didn't sit right. Regardless of how you feel about Undertaker today, back then you felt different. So you can't hindsight your emotions about somebody. Because if you do, you're not going to like any wrestler except for maybe 5. And the ones you do love, you find out later in about 5 or 10 years, you ain't going to like them. I am going to miss the duo of Lesnar and Heyman. But as much as it sucks, everything goes on. It has to. The world don't stop spinning because certain things end. I know. I've been there multiple times. But hopefully something new comes and we can watch that grow as well. Because I am interested in the new next big thing that's been there for a while, because I got to watch his father and uncle for a very long time. I wish there were other second generations that was in third generations that was getting a good bill and push, because there is more than one royal family in professional wrestling, and I think they should be highlighted. This has been Cedric for CR Wrestling Commentary. I want y'all to be cool, be chill, be safe, so I can see you next time.